I still remember it like it was yesterday. For a few days, all we kept hearing was them boys were sharper than a knife is what I thought.
Hold down, man. Suitcase this, my cell phone and my charger. Don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see your ass, you gon' leave airlifted.
What's up, everyone? You already know, man. Kfrogtv back in the building. Y'all make sure y'all do me that solid favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. I want to tell everybody, welcome back to Kfrogtv. I'm your host, Kfrog live and direct. For this video here, I'm going to be telling y'all about some shit that went down while I was locked up down here in the state of Florida. And to me, it was kind of like mind-blowing. Literally, you know, the type of shit that you see in prison, you know, you seem to never forget. And even if you do forget it, there will be certain topics or certain conversations or certain things that you will see or, you know, just certain situations you may find yourself in while you're on the streets to where it makes you remember, damn. And, you know, and then now you find yourself discussing it, telling all your loved ones about it. Hey, this one time in prison or this one time when I was locked up. Y'all get what I'm getting at. But anyways, for this one, I'm going to be telling y'all about a time when I was in confinement, all right? And the cell next to me, there was these two young jits, all right? They were probably in their early 20s, you know? And at Charlotte CI, we had a lot of jits, you know? There was a lot of people that were, that was under 25 and below, you feel me? That was there. And you know, y'all hear a lot about jit camps. Y'all hear how it goes down at jit camps. You know, bitches be extorting, robbing, wetting people up, hitting bitches with locks, cutting their face open, steady pranking people, fighting for the hell of it, you know, just to have fun. You know, that's how it is, you know, with the younger crowd. You know, people do their time all types of different ways. Where the jitterbugs do their times way different than the old school people do. The old school people ain't trying to play, laugh, and kiki with you. But if shit gets serious, they're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to kill you. All right? That's the difference between the YOs and the adult side. You get what I'm saying? It's totally different ball games. But down here in the state of Florida, after some YOs got shut down, they started spreading the YOs out on main compounds. Some compounds are divided to where you got half that compound is all YOs, you know, which was youthful offenders, and then the other half is adults. But there'll be a gate in between it, so the adults can't go there and the YOs can't come over here, you know? Now, at Charlotte, everyone's mixed in together. It don't matter if you're 21, 22, and it don't matter if you're 75 to 80, 53 to 34, none of that shit. Y'all are all thrown together. There is no separation with the fence with your age. The YOs is mixed right in there because Charlotte is a bad adjustment camp. That's how I got sent there from Calhoun, you feel me? That's literally like a camp where they just send all the bad people, you feel me? So, while I was in confinement, I was doing a 180-day stretch, I believe it was at this time. The cell next to me in confinement, you know, there was two young jits in there. One was Spanish, one was a black dude. They were both, I think, from Miami, if I'm not mistaken. I know the Chico was. I'm not sure about the black dude. But, you know, we used to conversate and fish to each other. You know, I'd send my line over there. They put something on, I pull it in, and vice versa. You know, we used to conversate and hang out. They'd be standing on the door 24/7 because in confinement, you ain't got shit to do back there other than talk to your bunkie, and then after a while, you know, you done talked his ear off, he done talked your ear off. Y'all take turns rotating on who stands up and tells the story and who lays down and who's watching. You feel me? You'll be laying there on your bunk like this, and your bunkie will be walking back and forth talking to you for an hour. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, it's time for him to lay down and shit. Now it's your turn. You're on duty now. You feel me? So I was in room 6. The people that was next to me at that time in that room was in room either 5 or 7. I'm not sure which way the numbers went, but they were to the left of me. So I'm chopping it up with them, you know, vibing and shit. And they always did stupid shit, you know. They couldn't break that young mentality. And, you know, I know y'all think, you know, when people break the rules and commit crimes, you know, they deserve to be in prison, all right? But I'm talking about some of these dudes are so young that they got more time in there than they've had to live. Literally. These dudes would be 20 years old and they in there 40 years, 60 years, 75 years. All right. I've told a long time ago and a couple other stories that there was someone in there I knew, his nickname was 40. They called him 40 because he had 40 years and he was nothing but like 21, 22 years old. You know, I know people committed crimes and shit like that and deserve to be in prison when they, you know, break the law. But they're giving out these numbers to this younger crowd more time than they'd have lived, to where they'll never be able to fully rehabilitate themselves. You know, you look at it. You're 21 years old, you come in with 50 years. You're not going to want to change and rehabilitate for what? I'm 20 years old. I'm going to be out when I'm 70. Shit, I'm going to live and do my time how I want to do my time. And that's what happens with a lot of these jitterbugs. They be in there and they don't try to do better. They continue to fuck up, get in fights, start shit, steal, rob, cut people, hit people with locks. They do all the above in there, and they live their life totally different because that is their life from now on. You feel me? And that's how it was with one of the jits that was next door. The other one that was with him, I don't know how much time he caught, but the Chico, he was in there, boy. He had 35 years. You feel me? And he was young. He was nothing but 20-something years old. Low 20s. 21, if that. It was probably 20 on the head. You feel me? They were jits. And then the other one that was with him was a jit too. I'm just not sure how much time he had. You know? And they used to do stupid shit all the time. Like, they'd be put on strip. For those who don't know what strip is, that's when they come around and take every single thing out of your cell. Have you in there with nothing on but your boxers. And that's what it would be with them. They would always do something. You know, they were forced to eat loaf for a while. They was on food restriction where your trays was different. They was getting loaf back there. You know, they would just do shit, and then as soon as they get their things back, they do something else to get their shit taken, to just to make, you know, give the give the officers a hard time while they're back there. You know, bust the sprinklers, which I did that a couple times while I was locked up also. But make them do paperwork. Make their day at work hard because they're living however they want in prison because they know most likely they're going to die in prison. You see what I'm saying? So these two jits, it was always something. And by my cell being right next to theirs, the vent was right there. The little vent we used to talk through the thing when we didn't want to lean on the door. So if they got gassed, you best believe that shit was coming in my room. Even if they shut the exhaust fans off. You feel me? So they used to always get in the shit. And I remember one time he was like, hey, bro, they finna come hit my cell. Bitch, I need you to hold something for me. So I'm like, bitch, I ain't on that. He's like, come on, bitch, I got you, bro. This and that, this and that. I said, nah, I ain't on that shit, bitch. I don't hold nothing for nobody, you feel me? He like, I respect that, bro. I respect that. I'm like, all right. A few days after that, I'm talking to him, chopping it up with him. You know, I'm like, bitch. I'm like, man, one of my raw-ass bangers I had on the compound just got knocked off. I know because one of my homeboys came to confinement for it. He like, oh, what, you need a banger? I said, I mean, shit, I don't need one right now, bitch. I'm in the box. Who am I wet? My bunkie? You know what I'm saying? Like, literally. And he was like, well, bitch, look, check this shit out, bro. Send your line over here. I'm going to show you something. So I sent my line over there, pulled it back up under the door. When I pulled it back up under my door, it was a bunch of, like, magazine paper. You know, it had different pictures and shit on it and wrapped up in it real tight. When I pulled it under the door and looked, there was 3 pieces of metal. And he already started sharpening one. So I'm like, damn. He like, yeah, bitch, what you want to do? You want to buy one? I'm like, hell no. Because there ain't nowhere to hide these shits inside the cell. It's common sense. You better hope they don't come flip your cell. Because they already know the spots. The only place you can hide that shit is with the bunk beds. You feel me? The toilet, the light, or the heater that's sticking out of it. They already know, bro. There's not that many places you can hide that shit. They've been finding things for years. They know all the hiding spots you think you got. All the spaces you think you can hide that shit, man, they know, bro. You feel me? And a lot of people look at it like, oh, I'd rather be in a cell than in an open bay. Yeah, it is more privacy in a cell than it is in an open bay dorm. But at the same time, and if they find something contraband-wise, a knife, a phone, Tunchi, tobacco, anything that you're not supposed to have, if they find that shit on an abandoned bunk, a bunk that like someone else lives at, or in the open bay bathroom or anything, they can't charge you for it. You see? Because that's a common area. In the cell, boy, it's a wrap. They find something on your bunkie, boy, he don't, man, I'm saying it's mine, he didn't know nothing about it. And even if he does say that, 9 times out of 10, yeah, still going to confinement. There's only so many places you can hide shit in a little 6x10 cell, you feel me? So I told him, nah, hell no, I don't want none of these shits. And I slung that shit right back over there. You feel me? He took him, he's like, all right, well, bitch, let me know, you feel me? He's like, I'm going to CM, you know, I'm going control management, you feel me? They shipping me or whatnot. I caught like 400 days back here. I'm like, boy, Jit, you wild. He's like, boy, you don't know the half of it. I'm like, I bet I don't. So we chopping it up for a little bit. Anytime someone walk by the door, by the window, he out there yelling at him, yelling right on the window, hey, bitch, ask anyone if they need that banger, boy, if anyone need that bang. Like loud as hell. Like I know officers can hear that shit too, you feel me? I'm like, boy, these jits is hot. Crash dummy shit, you know what I'm saying? Like they know they ain't getting back on the compound, so they just like the hell with it. They want to be known as the wild jits wherever they go. So Next thing you know, for the next couple days, middle of the nighttime, I hear, you know, real good. So I'm like, damn, the boys is over there sharpening the banger, you know what I'm saying? He's over there putting in work, getting them bangers sharpened. You know, I'm like, you feel me? Like, bitches literally want to buy an already sharp knife rather than just a piece of metal that's got to be shaved down. So I'm like, okay, he's over there, he's just doing his little hustle. And I'm talking about his shifts started changing. It wasn't just nighttime now. You know, he started doing that shit during the day. As soon as the lights turn on, it's time for breakfast, you're hearing I'm like, damn, he putting in that extra work. He must got someone that wants to buy that shit. You feel me? So he's trying to hurry up and finish it. Or he already sold the one that was already sharpened. So he's like, now that bitch sold, he done got big headed and felt like, oh, this bitch is gonna sell like hotcakes. Let me go ahead and finish this one. You know, so I'm over there thinking, okay, he's sharpening them bitches. You know, he's getting that shit over with. And I guess, you know, the officers ended up walking by. Once the officers walked by, he refused to cuff up when they went near his cell. I guess one of the officers he thought was cool, he showed him the knife. Like an idiot, stupidest shit ever. And when this happened, I was in my bed taking a nap, you feel me? But I heard all officers and shit like that. There was a lot of like shit going on, conversation. So I'm up, I look, I go, they're all right in front of my door, because this door was literally right next to mine. They're all in front of my door. I was on the top tier. They're all standing right there. So I'm like, damn, bro, they done found something, you feel me? But at the same time, even though I ain't got nothing in here, at the time, I don't want to look suspect and be like nosy or nothing, to give them a reason to be like, well, maybe he hid more over here, because that's what they'll do sometimes, you feel me? If they blitz this room in confinement, they might search the whole top tier after that, because they know people be hot, you know, sliding shit to their homeboy and having that person hold it and everything like that, you feel me? But I guess he got in an argument with the officer or whatever, and he showed the knife to him. So the officer's like, what's that? And started yelling at him and said, cuff up, and he wanted cuff up. And the way it is in Florida, in confinement, the officers are not allowed to enter your cell. You feel me? Unless you're cuffed up. You feel me? I mean, confinement now. When you're on the compound, they can come in your shit. You feel me? But in confinement, they're not allowed to open the door until however many inmates in there are actually with their hands behind their back cuffed up. Not in the front of them. It's got to be cuffed behind them. So without you refusing to cuff, all they're going to do is surround your door. They're going to give you verbal warning after verbal warning. And then eventually they're going to go get the cans of spray and come back and gas your ass a couple times and see if you submit. You feel me? And if you don't, then the Ninja Turtles, which is the RRT team, Rapid Response Team, Riot Response Team, they run in there. They get all suited up and they hold the person in front of them like a caterpillar and they run in there. You know, and that's what they normally do. But you got to go through all the stages first before they're allowed to do that. So as he's out there, they're saying, open the door, open, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, open the door, I'll open the door, I wish you would. That's what he's saying to the officers, knowing the officers can't open the door. So when all that shit happened, next thing you know, when the officers weren't looking, whatever he had, I guess he didn't show them like one of his real knives or whatever. Because whatever he showed them at the time, he flushed it. And then then he finally cuffed up, they went in there, they didn't find nothing. So I'm thinking like, man, that boy just had 3 knives, boy. I'm like, that boy had 3 knives. I'm like, boy, they're finding something. I'm like, boy, them boys finna be up out of there. You know what I'm saying? I seen them get gassed a couple times. They made the police run it for absolutely nothing. Got sprayed while they were in there, you know. I guess you could take that hot sauce, then, you know, then you do what you got to do. You feel me? So after they took them boys out, they put them in the showers, they searched their cell, they don't find nothing. They put them back in their cell and everything. Still got a DR. Some people stay back there and constantly catch DRs, you feel me, just to get away from the camp they're at. They don't want to be there no more. So the more DRs you get, the more of a chance you will get, you know, shipped for, you know, excessive DRs. If you get too many within 12 months, they can actually recommend you for CM and ship you. And since they were already going to CM, they didn't want to keep sitting there in confinement. They want to hurry up and get sent to CM. So after they didn't find nothing, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. They didn't find nothing. I'm like, that shit's, you know, he just showed me these bangers literally a few days ago. And then supposedly he showed the officer something. So I'm like, man, they had to find something. You know, they went in there with a little step ladder when they put them in the shower, because they'll cuff you, escort you to the shower, put you in there, uncuff you, or might leave you cuffed in there in the dark. It depends. Put them in separate showers. And they came in with a step ladder. They got up there with a little screw gun and they undid all the bolts in the light, opened the light to see if he hid anything in there. And they didn't find nothing. So they put them boys back in the cell. I'm like, damn. So then I get on the door. I'm like, Chico. I'm like, you good? He like, man, you already know, fam. Da 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 da. He starts telling me. I'm like, for real? He like, hell yeah, bro, shit ain't nothing. Literally, after they all leave the dorm, what do you hear? I'm like, what the hell? That's crazy. And they patted them down. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when they put you in the shower, they'll make you uncuff through the cage of the shower, take your cuffs off, and then they make you take every single thing you got off you and hand it to them through the cage, and then turn around, squat, cough, do all that shit that they normally do. Same thing when you leave visitation. You feel me? So I'm like, damn, boy, that boy must have had a mean spot, you know, or maybe he slid it to another cell or something. All I keep hearing is that. So I'm like, damn, that boy really want to, you know, get them knife sharpened. Next thing you know, about 2 days go by. All he did, you know, different hours of the day, you'd hear that grinding, that grinding, that grinding. I guess someone heard about it or seen it from the outside. But what had happened was the police rushed the dorm out of nowhere. Feel me? We heard like an alarm go off. Yeah. Them little flashing lights. The little flashing firelight went off. And they ran in there. I'm talking about so squatted. Like they locked the whole compound down and had probably every officer on the compound in there. They ran in there and they took Chico and his homeboy out. And they didn't put them in the shower. They took them straight to Y dorm, which is another confinement, which is behind medical and all that shit at Charlotte. They took them boys straight to Y dorm, and no one knew really what was going on at first. You feel me? Like, we all couldn't tell what was going on. But what they did is they ended up searching our cells after that. They took us out one by one, put us in the shower, strip searched us, flipped our bunks, our cells, trying to look for everything else. And what it was is I was like, damn, this is such a deep-ass, you know, search that they're doing. I'm like, what the hell could they possibly be looking for? You feel me? Like, what is it that they could be looking for at the time? Like, what made them want to, you know, flip everybody's shit like this? So as they escort me to the shower, when I look over, I see their window, which is a big ass window. Their window was like hanging down. And what that grinding wasn't a knife being sharpened. That grinding was him cutting the edges of the window, like going through the cinder block of the window. And I guess they were able to pull it out. And when they pulled it out, I don't know if someone on the outside of the compound, I mean, like on the outside on the compound seen it from medical, or I don't know what it was. You feel me? I just know, like, when I seen it, I'm like, damn, you could see sunlight, like a straight gap, holes in the wall, that shit was hanging. So in my mind, I'm like, damn, that's probably where they hid the bangers when they came to do the search. They probably pulled the shit out a little bit, put the bangers there, and put the window back up. And I'm not talking about a little standard window. If anyone's been to prison, you know what I'm saying, them windows are big, like the ones that you look outside from confinement. It isn't the little rectangle one that's on the door, like in jail and stuff like that. And it isn't a little rectangle window like at South Florida Reception Center. This shit was a big-ass rectangle, and it was like a metal sheet with holes in it, like the size of a pencil, with holes all in it. And then inside of that is a screen, and then the window. You feel me? They pulled that whole thing off. You feel me? And what made me, like, glance at it is because I'm like, man, what the fuck they flipping my shit for? And them boys been took the Y dorm. And then come to find out the whole reason that they came in there, which they found what they were looking for, but the reason they came in there was from days before that, when them boys got gassed and made the police run it and all that shit like that, the RRT team came in there and went to restrain them and did all the shit they did. Well, I guess it was docketed down that a pair of their gloves were missing. The RRT gloves were missing. You feel me? And I guess all the equipment and stuff they get, they got to sign it in and sign it out and stuff to tell if something's missing or someone slid something to an inmate that they shouldn't. You know, that shit's all counted for. So somehow they must have known that that room is who had them, and they just laid on them and waited and shit. And I don't know what it was, but they sure as hell, that's the reason they hit the cell. And they found the gloves. You feel me? So when they brought me to the shower, the first time I seen the window hanging. When they brought me back from the shower and I looked, I seen the gloves laying there. One glove was hanging on the window, the other one was laying on the ground. RRT hadn't been there today for them gloves to be there. You feel me? And then that's when we found out from the next shift that a pair of gloves was missing. Them inmates stole a pair of those gloves. Just stupid shit. Like, maybe he was using it to hold the metal to get through the thing or whatever it was. So maybe it was like a stepping stone. All right, we got to get the police in here. You feel me? So we're going to get gassed, rock out with them, make them come in here and beat our ass. And our whole goal is to secure a pair of these gloves. You know, so that way we can finish, you know, shimmying our window out. You know, people do shit like that. They plan ahead. Or it probably just happened. Them shits just happened to get left in there by an officer at the time when the RRT team went in there. And then they, boom, secured them and cuffed them. And then next thing you know that they had them cuffed somewhere, they decided to use them all the time to get the window done. Man, them officers, man, when they took them kids, I know for a fact they beat the shit out of them. They didn't just take them and go put them in wide dorm. They don't just do that. They bring you there because that's where they hide you. They could cover you up and beat the dog shit out of you and leave you back there till you heal up a little bit. Make the nurse come see you, tell the nurse a whole different story from what really happened. No matter what you say to the nurse can't write it down. The nurse can't help you out. You know what I'm saying? They work for them. You feel me? And they're going to side with them. These are officers that probably cake with the nurses, be fucking the nurses, hang out with them on the streets. You know, people that are, you know, they get along at work. They're not going to side with an inmate. You know, you're a threat to the nurses. You see what I'm saying? And I guarantee you when they put them boys back there in wide dorm, they beat the dog shit out of them. To me, it was just so crazy because I'm like, how the hell did they get that shit that far in just a couple days of making that noise? And it wasn't like it was a 24/7 grind. It was literally like a few hours a day, but all together though. It ain't like you would hear it for a few hours straight. You know, you would hear it for like 45 minutes, and then you won't hear it for like 6 hours. And then you'll hear it for 45 minutes, and then it would change. It would be different timings and stuff like that. Them boys literally pulled that window in and had a pair of gloves. You feel me? And these were jits. Them boys probably wasn't really going to escape, or maybe they were. But the way that Charlotte CI set up, even if they hit that window, man, there was nowhere they were going because their window was facing the compound. It isn't like it was the back end of confinement that was facing the parking lot or facing the woods or you know, where the visitors come in at or anything like that. This shit was facing to where when inmates leave the chow hall, you could talk to them, yo, da 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 da, and they look up at your window and they say shit to you. So it was literally like facing the compound to where anybody walking by could see if your windows fucking fell in. You know, and I guess it was all connected because it was literally just a big chunk. And it was like, picture the square like this, and it was in and hanging. So that whole shit was just a big hole to where you see nothing but the sky. You feel me? And I'm like, damn, these jits snap. Now imagine if they was back there for, if they didn't get caught though. Like imagine if they was back there for a good fucking 2 months doing that. You know, they probably would have had it to where it was perfectly and looked discreet to where anyone else down the line came there, you know, like years later down the line and just be fucking around picking at the window and shit and all of a sudden see, oh, this is a gap. And then they shake it, playing around. And hey, bro, grab that side. Oh, shit. And then no matter who it is that gets that room next, boy, your ass gonna get written up for it. So if they would have put that shit back up there and got shipped to CM and say the next people that got put in that room came in there and officers go to do a massive shakedown one day and they flip that shit and they go to look and see that shit's tampered with and all that stuff, they gonna take it out on them two new dudes and be like, what you mean, bro? I just got in this squad today. I ain't been in this cell 5 minutes. You mean to tell me you think I did that in fucking, or 5 hours? You mean to tell me I did that in 5 hours, bro? And that's, you know, and they'll take it out on that person. So really, them jits wasn't probably planning to escape. They was planning on, you know, leaving it behind for someone else that had no idea their shit was like that to get in trouble for it, man. You feel me? And like I said, these were young bucks. You know, they didn't know what else to do with their time. You feel me? But I would never forget it. Because like I said, I chopped it up with the jit that was from Miami. You feel me? We used to talk on the door and shit. And I was like, man, jit, wow, dog. And I've never seen nothing like that happen as far as like a, you know, escape or anything like that. Like I said, it wasn't like someone tried to hit the gate. You feel me? My one homeboy hit the gate one time. He got caught all up in the barbed wire. And I made a video about him before. He was a Z. He got all cut up and shit like that. And they were spraying him while he was hanging in the wire. All that shit. But what ended up happening was, is by this shit falling in, I don't know if that's what set the alarm off. I don't know if they set the alarm off. I don't know what it was. But for that loud-ass alarm to go off and them police to be in there, I remember I went up to my door and looked out my window that was in the door. And there was police. The whole top tier was covered in police. Down there was police. And they didn't even think twice to cuff them jits up. They ran in the cell that time. Cuff them jits up and get them up out of there. You feel me? And I was like, damn, that's crazy. Them boys did that shit right next to me. And I had no idea that's what they were really doing. Like I said, I thought they were sharper than knives. You feel me? If y'all ever been locked up and y'all been through any situations like this, or you know someone that tried to do some shit like this, or if you know any young bucks in there that are living ratchet like this shit that I'm telling y'all in this video, drop it in the comments section, man. Y'all know I'm down and see what y'all put in there, man. I'm curious, you feel me? But that shit there was just crazy to me. And I'll never forget, man, because I'm like, damn, here I've been out a little over 3 years now. That jit still got hella years in prison, man. And I'm thinking like, man, he young, getting in so much trouble while he's in here, bro. By the time he gets out, if he makes it to getting out, if he ends up making it to getting out, he's either going to be a changed man and tired of all the bullshit, and he's going to be straight, or he's going to be even worse. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was just mind-blowing. Them boys got caught with RRT gloves, and the fucking window, they ripped the whole window in out of a fucking concrete block. That just shows anything can be possible. Just like in Shawshank Redemption. If y'all seen that movie, when that boy chiseled with the little hammer thing, he chiseled all the way through the wall and shit like that. That shit is possible, bro. You feel me? That's why they do security checks. That's the whole reason they're supposed to come around and inspect and shit like that. They're supposed to check things, make sure that it isn't being tampered with. And within that shorter period of time, them officers didn't do that. And then they was able to at least do whatever their plan was. They fucking got majority of it done before they slipped up somewhere. You feel me? That shit's crazy. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video on up. I appreciate everyone that's been watching. Y'all hit that like button on the way out if you ain't hit it on the way in. I'm going to try to remember to say that a lot because I know when a video first comes on, a lot of people forget to hit the like button. So I'm going to start saying that from now on. And y'all remember, man, to keep them square snakes, rats, clowns, chomos, fucking all of them. Keep them all out your circle, man, and just prosper. Keep your head up. Positivity goes way farther than negativity at the end of the day, no matter what. Keep a smile on your face. If God brings you to it, he'll bring you through it. Till next time, this Frog.